Today we're talking about one of my favourite rooms and ultimately spaces to design, and it's our kitchen.
Yeah, so the kitchen is essentially not only the kitchen, but the full walk-in scullery and the adjoining study as well.
So when the initial planning started for the kitchen, there was a list of must-haves that we wanted to cover off. So there was ultimately layout and how that's going to work for our family, what appliances that we wanted to use, and then the materials and everything else came after that.
Yeah, we knew we wanted a galley style kitchen, so I guess that was our starting off point, and we knew that we were going to have a scullery that sort of carried off that area.
The galley style kitchen, played in the long, narrow house's favour. So we wanted to not complicate the space or not over design it and have too much joinery in there.
But we did want lots of storage.
So we've basically gone drawers everywhere below bench, which is something that we do anyway, but we didn't want overhead cupboards. So we wanted to play on the shape and form of the island bench, and we created this beautiful range hood with really nice soft curves on it. And then we had a beautiful metal shelf detail that linked over to the wall oven tower. What that gave us was that bit of negative space. Alyssa was able to, style that shelf. And also we had two light wells coming down either side, which, just washed down the beautiful brick walls. So, it really gave the kitchen that feature and the softness that we're after.
So the kitchen behind me has been all sheeted now. So during the build, once we started developing the frames and everything, we really started to understand what lack of natural light that we were going to actually be getting from the east. These small lot blocks are really hard. Once you get the houses on top of each other, it really limits any sort of natural light coming into the property. So we're lucky with this back area that, that does bring in a lot of natural light, but I'm going to have to say Alyssa came up with a really amazing idea, and creating these light wells behind me, it really captures that morning eastern sun. It's going to wash down the painted brickwork, so it's actually going to be quite a nice feel with that natural movement down the wall.
So from the very beginning, I knew I wanted a really light and bright kitchen, but again, I didn't want it to feel too stark, and I really wanted to pay attention to, the smaller details in the space.
Yeah, the island bench we kept white and we created a nice little detail around it, but we didn't want a white kitchen. So we went to Farmer's Doors. Farmer's Doors are this boutique door manufacturing company down the Gold Coast. We use them on multiple projects. We've got a fantastic relationship with them. And working with the team, we developed a custom handle and a beautiful textured natural oak look finish for all mainly the base units along the cooking wall into the scullery. So we're super stoked with the outcome and how it really turned out. I'm a real stickler for detail and sometimes go a little bit overboard. And
I think?
Yeah. So inside the kitchen, I certainly like having a good looking interior of a kitchen. Not, yes, the outside's got to look amazing and function very well, but the internal hardware of your kitchen is probably one of the most important parts of a kitchen. So we always use Blum for our drawer runners, our hinges, our lift systems, and all those sorts of things. So Blum, to me, are the best hardware supplier in the world. So what we used for our kitchen was their latest drawer runner, the Legrobox Pure range. All the interior organisers are the Ambialine that suit the Legrobox drawer range.
Yeah, we did the bottle racks, the knife rack, spice racks. We pretty much kitted it out with the full Blum accessories.
The one element that we really did some research in was the range hood, and we ended up going to a Swagon range hood. And the benefits of this Swagon range hood was they have an external motor and they're extremely silent inside. So I love cooking, but I didn't want to have this loud motor hanging over me really drowning out the space. So by having that external motor, the swag and range hood worked really well for us. We partnered with Sussex for all the tapware in this property. So they're an Australian-made company, Australian design. They're the only carbon neutral manufacturer of tapware in the country. We're trying to be mindful throughout the build and supporting that Australian design and manufacture. So the kitchen tap is from the Circa range. It has a pull-out hand spray and has a hob mount mixer. So again, it's purely the simplicity of the tap that we really loved, but it had the function of being able to clean the sinks. And it finally leads me to the workhorse of the kitchen, the bench tops. We've gone with Star-On solid surface bench tops. It's probably one of my favorite products. It's so versatile from a design and manufacturing point of view. The product doesn't stain. I can bring it back to brand new at any stage of its life. There's so many elements to this product that we absolutely love.
Yeah, we used Star-On in our previous house, and the kids were quite young and
bashed it.
Yeah, they absolutely gave it a hard knock, and it really stood up. So it made sense when we were picking our bench tops for this home that we went with Star-On again. And aesthetically, the product worked really well with the actual overall scheme of the property as well.
Yeah, we went with bright white. So and the beautiful thing about Star-On solid surface is you can fudge the gloss level. So we went with quite a matte finish, which definitely suited the interior that we were after. As a family, ultimately seating is a really important part of a kitchen design. I typically didn't want to have an overhang island bench and have a series of stools. I definitely like more of a conversational area, and ultimately the room didn't really allow for that row of seating. So we designed a settee at the end of the cooktop. It allows us to sit 2 or 3 along the leather padded seat, as well as just a nice little round Jardin table with a couple of little stools that we can sort of move around. It just really gave us the flexibility that we needed for our family.
So the kitchen opens up to quite a large scullery, which is essentially where we
keep all the mess,
hide the mess, and make the mess.
Yeah.
As well as keep all those sort of functional items like your blender, toaster, mixmaster, etc. It's also where we house our all-in-one zip, which was high on the priority list when we were designing the kitchen.
Yeah, hands down, probably the favorite appliance of the house. The kids absolutely love the zip. So it was a little funny story is when we were building this house, we had to rent somewhere, and we actually found that kids didn't drink a lot of water. So
they're like, oh, that water's gross.
Yeah.
So essentially the zip allows them to drink more water, or makes them drink more water. Not only is it convenient and functional and it's easy for them and their friends to access, but it tastes better as well. So it really ticks all the boxes from their perspective in terms of drinking more water.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had the chilled, boiled and sparkling set up with the zip. Alyssa drinks sparkling and everyone else in the family drinks that chilled water. It's a great product.
So from the scullery, you enter the study, which is essentially where the kids do all their homework. It's a nice large space. I love that we can just close it off at the end of the day, and it hides all the mess, and the table is basically kept homework free.
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to have all 3 of those spaces connected because, while we're cooking and preparing, the kids are doing their homework, and having the 3 spaces for the kids in their individual areas just works really well for us.